Yes. So in the previous class we were discussing about error probability of binary phase shift keying modulation. So we are going to look at a different approach or much easier approach to do the same analysis. So we are going to take the two symbols in the signal space which are represented along the basis function called xi1 of t. We can locate the symbols s1 and the symbol s2 along the basis function. The distance of each of these symbols from the origin is given by under the root e, because we know that the xi1 is written as, it's a orthonormal basis function written as under the root 2 by t cos
Hello.
omega naught t.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
ये क्लास इतना पढ़ो ये क्या है
Who is it talking? Any background?
ತಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ
Tanmay,
ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ
Tanmay, mic off ಮಾಡು. Okay. Okay, we shall see. The symbols in general can be written as or expressed as under the root e times of xi1. This is for symbol s1. For symbol s2, it can be written as minus root e into xi1 of t. So we know that the s, whether it is symbol s1 or s2, if you take the magnitude of the magnitude of the symbol si, in case of BPSK, it is always equal to under the root e. Okay, magnitude is under the root e. Now what we will do, whenever there is a received signal vector, whenever a signal is received which is r, which consists of the symbol st plus the noise term which is random in nature. This is random in nature and this is the actual signal that we have transmitted. Now we are, this random signal that we are obtaining or receiving, this is the random one. The signal will acquire the randomness of this AWGN noise. So as we know, the noise which is random in nature, its probability density function is given by f of, I'll represent this random noise with the random variable called a naught of t, which can be written as 1 by under the root 2 pi into sigma exponential rise to minus half into n naught of t divided by sigma naught whole square. This is the expression for the probability density function of the noise. Yes, any problem? Any issue?
Ma'am, echo.
Still echoing?
Yes, ma'am. Too much, ma'am.
Till now, was it clear? So far, was it clear? ಈಗ ಎಂಜಾರೆ ಎಂಜಾರೆ.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still echoing?
Now it's okay, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So whenever we are going to represent a random noise which is Gaussian in nature, we know the probability density function is of a standard representation. Now whenever this R is obtained, we are going to compare, if it is a magic filter, we are going to compare it with the reconstructed symbol on the receiver side. We are going to find the magnitude R minus R1, where R1 is the amplitude of reference signal, S1 reference signal at receiver, at Rx. Similarly, we are also going to obtain what the difference between the received vector and also the amplitude of the S2 reference signal at the receiver. So we are going to obtain these two parameters. So what is the condition that we will use to in order to detect whether it is S1 or S2? If the magnitude of this particular representation, if it is less than R minus R2, then we decide in favor of the hypothesis H1. That means I am going to decide in favor of symbol S1. If it is greater than, if difference between the received vector and also the reference signal, if it is larger than the difference with respect to symbol S2, then I am going to decide in favor of symbol 2. That means hypothesis H2. So this is the method that we normally come across whenever we are going to do the detection process by making use of matched filter, or in case of coherent filter or coherent detection method. So this is our signal. As you know, the random noise signal, the random noise n of t, which is varying with respect to time, since it's an AWGN noise, it will always have an impact on the transmitted information at the same frequency, which means I can write this n of t as n0 into xi1 of t, which is n0 into under the root 2 by t cos omega naught t. Now, is it still echoing? I'll continue, you just see the procedure. When I share the video, you can look at it. Okay, that is what I can help you out, because if I switch the location now, then it will not be useful for you. It is going to simply kill the time. Okay, I'll just continue, you just see the procedure. When I share the video, you will be able to see the actual recording. Okay, so n of t is equal to n0 into xi1 of t, which can be written like this. I'll represent this equation as equation 1 and this one as equation 2. Now, compare equation 1 and 2. What do you mean by compare? I'm going to compare the amplitudes or the signals, the signal power and the noise power. So, I'm trying to compare the signal and the noise at the same frequency. Comparing 1 and 2, comparing 1 and 2, we see that when does an error occur? An error will occur whenever the noise power exceeds the signal power. Okay? Error occurs when noise exceeds signal power. That means the condition is n0 is greater than root e. The modulus of n0 is greater than the modulus of root e. So this is a condition where the error will occur. To measure that error, how much error is getting occurred, what is the probability of ending up in an error is, we need to find out the area under the curve. We need to make use of the PDF function of the Gaussian distribution, which will help us in identifying the probability of error. So this is the Gaussian distribution curve of the noise, the effects n0 of t. So what is the error condition? n0 is greater than root e. That means there is some value n0, the error will occur if at all the n0 value exceeds this. This is the error region, where the x-axis will contain all possible instantaneous values of n of t, the noise, instantaneous amplitude of the noise. So, keeping this error region in mind, we need to find out the error probability by making use of the probability density function. So, the probability of error PE is written as 1 by under the root 2 pi into sigma integral, which is the error causing region n0 to plus infinity e raised to half into n0 of t by sigma whole square dn0, because this is the variable or the random variable that we have. So this is how we are going to find out the error probability. Now we need to do small manipulations here in order to obtain the expression. I am going to write it on the other side. Okay, so starting from here, now the n0 value should be e. Okay, so therefore PE is written as integral 1 over under the root 2 pi into sigma square. This one is root e and this one is infinity, e to the power minus half into n0 square, n0 by sigma whole square into dn0. We are going to do some substitution, simple substitution. Substitute y is equal to n0 by n0 of t divided by sigma. I am going to do this substitution, differentiating on both sides. If you are going to differentiate on both the sides, then I am going to get an expression dy is equal to, or sigma into dy is equal to d of n0 of t. Now the limits will change. When n0 of t is equal to under the root e, implies y is equal to root e by sigma. When n0 of t is equal to infinity, implies y is equal to infinity. Okay, doing the substitution, PE is equal to 1 over under the root 2 pi into sigma square. This one can be replaced with under the root e by sigma square, okay, till infinity, e raised to minus y square by 2 into dy into sigma. Okay, when we do this, cancelling the terms which are wherever it is possible, PE is equal to 1 over under the root 2 pi integral from under the root e by sigma square, okay, into e raised to till infinity, e raised to y square by 2 into dy. Now this is a standard form. Where we are going to obtain or compare with the standard expression. This entire expression is a standard integration. It's a standard integration. This equation is what we call it as the error function, or it is also called as complementary error function. Another form of complementary error function. What is that? Whenever I have a integration, that is, I write it as just p, 1 over under the root 2 pi integral. If the starting integration is x till infinity with the dummy variable, let me write it below, p is equal to 1 over root 2 pi integral x till plus infinity e raised to minus y square by 2 into dy. If it is like this, I can write this equation as, using the normal distribution curve, I can write this as q of x. I don't know whether you have heard of this or not. This is written as q of x, where q is called as an complementary error function or other form of complementary error function. So using the same thing, I am going to write expression in the form of complementary error function, where PE can now be written as Q of whatever that is here in the lower integral, that will come here under the root E by sigma square. What is this sigma square? Sigma square is the noise power. As we know, for a double-sided noise, sigma square is equal to n naught by 2. Substituting this, I get PE is equal to Q of 2 times E by n naught. This is the same expression that we got yesterday. So this is the equation that is used to measure the probability of error that is occurring in transmitting the BPSK symbols over the channel. Probability of error in transmitting BPSK symbol over AWGN channel. Is this fine? Do you have any doubts so far? If I am audible, I think there will be no doubts. Yes? Prithvish.
Ma'am, sigma is usually variance, no ma'am? How noise changes?
Sigma square is variance.
Sigma square.
Yes,
Okay,
sigma
ma'am.
square is variance and it measures the noise power.
Okay.
Okay, it measures the noise power, and for a double-sided noise, its value is equal to n naught by 2. Okay, so please make a note of this. This is the easiest method of
Okay,
understanding
ma'am.
this equation. Now we will solve one problem. Based on this equation, we are going to solve problems now. Till then, I will share one PDF with you. You can just tell me whether have you seen this type of an table before or not. Have you seen this table before? It looks like a logarithmic table, but it is not. It is a table of Q function values. You get it like this. Have you seen this before? You have to tell me. Yes, no. I want the answer.
No, ma'am, we didn't saw.
Normal curve, have you studied normal distribution?
Logarithmic we know, ma'am, but Q function values we do not know.
No, normal distribution curve you know, right? Have you
Yes, ma'am, logarithm.
tell me.
But this we do not know, ma'am, Q function values.
You have not used this table before.
No, ma'am.
So we will see how to use this table. We will solve the problem and then we will come back to this. Okay. You remember this expression of probability of error? That should be enough. Q function table you can manage. It is similar to your logarithmic table. You can understand that. Okay. Take down the first problem so that we will do in tandem. I will dictate the problem. We will come back to this table again. I will share the table again. Okay. Now I am going to discuss, I am going to dictate the problem. Please take down. Yes, ready? Yes, take down the first problem. A bandpass data transmission scheme uses PSK signaling x2 is equal to t is equal to a into cos 2 pi f naught t, and x1 is equal to minus a into cos 2 pi f naught t. Transmitted over the time 0 less than or equal to t less than or equal to tb, where tb is equal to 0.2 millisecond, f naught is equal to 5 times fb, full stop. The carrier amplitude at the receiver input is the carrier amplitude at receiver is 1 millivolt, and power spectral density, I am writing it in short, power spectral density of AWGN at input is 10 raised to minus 11 watts per hertz. Assume ideal correlator is used, full stop. Calculate probability of error of the receiver. Calculate the probability of error of the receiver. Now let us see how to solve this problem. Let us first try to write what and all we know. We know the amplitude A, which is equal to 1 millivolt, which is 10 raised to minus 3 into E. This is amplitude. I know what is N naught by 2, that is noise spectral density or noise power. It is 10 raised to minus 11 watts per hertz. I know what is TB, that is bit duration, which is 0.2 milliseconds. Now, I need to find out what and all I need to find out PE. To find out PE, which is Q times under the root 2EB by N naught or 2E by N naught. I will need E is what? N naught is what? N naught I already know. I want to find out what is E. Energy is equal to power of this power multiplied by the time duration within which the symbol is transmitted. You can also write this as PB. Why I am writing it as PB, though it is symbol power, you can either write this as PS into TS, it is still valid for BPSK. Okay, we can write it like this. But what is power? Power PS is equal to, if I am writing in terms of amplitudes normalized with respect to 1 ohm resistor, then power is given by A squared by 2, because power is equal to PS is equal to VRMS square by R. What is VRMS? VRMS is equal to V by root 2, where V is the peak amplitude. If we are going to square this, we are going to get V square by 2. That is what I am writing here, and R value is equal to 1. Here I have chosen R value is equal to 1. Therefore, PS is equal to A square by 2. So, I know this TB or TS. In our case, TB and TS both are same for BPSK. This can also be written as TS. Okay, so PS is equal to, what is A value? It is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 whole square divided by 2. Fine. Then E is equal to 10 raised to minus 6 divided by 2 into what is PV? It is 0.2 into 10 raised to minus 3. If you calculate this, you are going to get the energy of the bit. What is energy of the bit? Multiply these two. You are going to get 0.1 minus 0.9 multiplied by 0.1. You are going to get 1 into 10 raised to minus 10 joules. This is measured in terms of joules. 1 into 10 raised to minus 10 joules. Once I know energy, once I know E and once I know N naught, I am going to substitute here. Let me substitute in the equation, in this equation, then I will come back. Yes, this is over. So, PE is equal to Q of under the root 2 into, what is E? E is 1 into 10 raised to minus 10. N naught is equal to 2 into 10 raised to minus 11. 2 will get cancelled. This will go to under the root 10 is what you are going to get. So what is root 10? Root 10 value is given by, you need to tell me the root 10 value. How much? Under the root 10 is 3.162 227. You can also truncate it to 3.1623. Fine? Yes, are you people with me? At least one of you please respond. Are you people still with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. So once we know what is the value of this Q within the bracket, if I get to know the value, then I will show how to find out the value here, the probability of error value. So now you can see the Q table. Yes? Now what is the value inside the bracket? It is 3.162. First find out where the nearest value of 3.1. Can you see here? On the left column you are seeing X value. So this X value is nothing but, your table will always be given as Q of X. Okay? It is Q of X. I think you can also see the video here. Can you see the video? Or shall I stop sharing? See, Q value will always be identified as Q of X, and you will find the table as such. You will find X on one column, you will find the Q of X on the second column. So whenever I want to find the Q of X, the total value, first locate the X value here, and corresponding to that you will find the Q of X value. So this is similar to your logarithmic table. So I am going to go back to the table again. First find out where is that 3.16 nearing value. For that nearing value you will see 3.15, right? Then in this column you will see the extra decimal values if you want to add. Now how much is 3.16? It is 0.001 difference is there. So therefore you can come to this column, then just scroll down and map it here. You will see a value called as 7.88 into 7.88 into 10 raised to minus 4 as the probability of error. Okay. So you are going to see, I hope you understood how to see the probability of error value. This is 3.15. If you are going to add 0.01 to this, you are going to get 3.16. How to get to know that 3.16? You will see an extra value over here. Okay. So come down and then you will see 7.884 as the answer into 10 raised to minus 4 as the answer for your probability of error. What does this mean is, whenever I am transmitting the BPSK symbols within the time duration of 0.2 millisecond, that means what will be the RS? What will be the symbol rate? The symbol rate is given by 1 by TB or 1 by TS. Here TB and TS both are same. It is 1 over 0.2 milli. So it is almost equal to 50 kilo symbols per second. 50 kilo symbols per second. So whenever I am transmitting 50 kilo symbols per second over a AWHN channel with a noise power of around 10 raised to minus 11 watts per hertz, okay, of amplitude, if the received signal amplitude, if it is equal to 1 millivolt, then what the probability with which I am going to end up in an error is 7.88 into 10 raised to minus 4. That means for the transmission of 10 kilo symbols, 10 raised to 4 is 1 kilo. So for the transmission of 10 kilo symbols, 7 or approximately 8 symbols will be in error. 8 symbols will be in error. We cannot say 7.88 bits are in error, but rather we are going to say, we will round it off to the nearest next integer. That means for every 10,000 symbol transmission, there will be 8 symbols which will be in error. That is the representation, or that is the value what it is going to describe. Okay. The PE description is that for every 10,000 symbols transmission, there will be 8 symbols which will end up in an error. Is this clear so far? Yes, we will do many more such problems in the coming in the next class. Okay. So this is going to be important for your exam, for your test. So please look for this problem. I'm going to upload the video today itself so that you can go through it. Fine. So I'm going to stop it over here. If you have any doubts, you can ask.